James Kaufman, World News Report today. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just been struck by a magnitude 6.4 earthquake in the Aleutian Islands at Attu Station, Alaska. This looks like it was at a default depth. They don't know how deep it was. It did have an associated tsunami warning with it. Now, this is where the North American plate up here meets the Pacific plate down here, and this is a subduction zone. It's a plate boundary, and it's also a volcanic ridge. Wow. Let's go on. All right, jumping over to that 6.4. Found it right there about an hour ago. There are some active and awakening volcanoes in the area, but not directly under it. It is right there on that plate tectonic boundary. Let's get some additional information. It looks like the USGS is the main source here, 6.4, default depth of 10 kilometers. We also have the International Research Institute on Seismology coming in at a 6.4, default depth 10 kilometers, and the French coming in at a 6.0 with a default depth as well, 10 kilometers. Let's get some detailed information on this quake. Head over to volcanodiscovery.com. We see it was a very strong magnitude 6.4 earthquake about an hour and a half ago. And we can see where it hit up in the Aleutian Island chain, which is part of Alaska, i.e. the United States. Taking a look at some earthquake details, we have a magnitude 6.4, a default depth 10 kilometers, 0 reports. No one lives in this area. We have the USGS as the main source. The nearest volcano is Baldir. And about 3.8 atomic bombs worth of energy were released with this one quake. All right, taking a much closer look, it really did happen in the middle of nowhere, not on any of the volcanoes or any of the volcanic islands. Was on that plate tectonic boundary here. Did come in there 6.4, it looks like. Comparing earthquake data from different reporting agencies, we have our USGS coming in first, 6.4, default depth 10 kilometers. Incorporated Research Institute for Seismology, 6.4, 10 kilometers. We have the French coming in at 6.03, give or take, 0.18. Also a default depth 10 kilometers. We have the Germans coming at 6.4, and that's at a default depth. We have the Europeans coming in at 6.4. Looks like there's a consensus here. Default depth. The Australians coming in at 6.4, default depth. And let's see if there's anybody else. The Italians came in at a 6.4 as well. And they gave it a very shallow depth of 8.6 kilometers. Very strange. Now, there was an associated tsunami warning with this. And so I thought we would check the National Data Buoy Center. We see that no buoys are in event mode anywhere around the area that this occurred. So we can be pretty assured that no tsunami was created after all. In summary, we have that magnitude 6.4 earthquake that popped off in the Aleutian Islands, Alaska. There was an associated tsunami warning with that, and it released about 3.8 atomic bombs worth of energy. It was measured only at a default depth, except for, I believe, the Italians, who said it was even shallower than 10 kilometers. It was about 8 to 9 kilometers. With that said, God bless you and yours. Please share our video. Please subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible. Bizarro world.